What's up guys, it's Greeny. And if you're new to the channel, not familiar with me, I'm Greeny. I'm an American who retired about a year and a half ago, and I'm currently living in Thailand. And I wanted to tell you guys about how I failed miserably in retirement. Many of you may not know that this is actually my second retirement. I actually retired in 2011. That's the first time I retired, and it was a complete failure. What had happened is I was working at a job where after 25 years of service, you get a pension. And there ended up being a situation where the company owed us money, and we were able to buy time instead of get the money and retire early. So like an early buyout. So I ended up retiring much younger and earlier than I had planned. And I was 44 years old, and I received the full pension with my medical benefits, and I was retired, free to do whatever I want to do. Had a little bit of savings, had some investments, and the pension. So I was in okay shape. The housing market at that time was down a little bit. I think I was maybe a little underwater in my house. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to work anymore. I want to be retired. But I didn't plan out anything ahead of time. So after literally, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, I was just bored off my ass. I got a call from somebody asking me if I wanted to do some work, and I kind of started working, and that led into something else. And next thing you know, I'm working again. And it's 8 years later, and that's when I retired again. But this time, I set my mind to when I was going to retire. I knew I knew going into this second career that I was going to work about 8 years, and then once my kids went off to college, I was going to retire. So I had plenty of time this time to do it right and plan it out ahead of time. So my advice to you guys or gals, is to, kind of start your plan about 5 years out. If you have an idea that, hey, in 5 years I may retire, that's the time that you start planning out your retirement. And what I did was about 5 years out, I kind of set my goals. I decided on, what I wanted to do with my free time, my free life, like when I would be in charge and in control of my own life. All the time working for other people, you can't do everything you want to do. You can't do, you get a vacation, but your life is not what you want to make it. Okay? And so that was my goal. I wanted to be free at a pretty young age and do what I wanted to do. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. So, I had to start setting goals and figuring out what I wanted to do with my retirement. So anyways, you start thinking about that. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? Start getting into things, start getting into things a little bit. You want to go be a metal detector, do metal detecting. You want to travel, start traveling. You want to do YouTube, start doing YouTube. You want to do photography, start doing photography. You want to be a fisherman, start fishing. You want to be a boat captain, learn how to drive a boat or float a boat or whatever you do on a boat. But just start doing that ahead of time. So when you hit that retirement, you're in gear. I mean, you're moving. There's no holding you back. What I would do at about the 3-year mark is really start focusing on paying down all your debts. Because when you're in retirement, you want to have as few debts as possible. Okay. A lot of people have a house payment, whatever. If you're retiring abroad, maybe you're going to sell your house. That's a big payment, but you have to decide, do you want to downgrade? You really want to make your financial arrangements starting about 3 years ahead of time. And, as you're starting to get closer, you need to really know the retirement style that you want to live, how much is it going to cost you? Make sure that you can afford to do what you want to do, so you know if it's the right time, to be able to retire. You don't want to retire 2 years earlier than you should and not be able to afford what you want to do if you could have worked 2 more years and just had that money saved. Now, on the other hand, you don't want to work too long where you're wasting years of your life if you already have enough money to do what you want to do, if you follow me. Because trust me, you'll be a lot happier once you're a retired person. So yeah, like I said, you gotta get your hobbies ahead of time. You want to make like a to-do list. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to live? When you decide where you want to live, don't just retire and go somewhere. You know, I'm in Thailand right now. I retired. I've been here about 8 months, but after I did my retirement, I'd been here a few times, but I came out here last year for 2 months, traveled all over the country, and really got a lay of the land. So if you're going to retire abroad or retire somewhere, you really want to go there and investigate it, because it may not be for you, or an area of the country may be for you and another area may not be for you. But you want to get a real good lay of the land and figure out where you want to live. So if you guys haven't noticed, I'm looking down here because I made a few notes. I actually made this video already, but without notes. And like, oh shit, I'm done. Oh, I forgot to say this. Oh, I forgot to say that. So Greeny, that's me. I always try to, when I do these type of like list videos or informational videos, I try to have a list. So another thing I did was, besides figuring out my hobby and doing YouTube, which YouTube in itself kind of helps you meet new people. People are constantly, you know, sending me messages. I've met up with quite a few people that subscribe, that I subscribe to, that have similar interests, other YouTubers here. But, you know, maybe you're not doing YouTube. Maybe you just want to go retire to fish or do whatever. Wherever you're going to go, or even if you're staying, living where you're going to live, there are so many groups on like Facebook with people that have similar interests as you. Join the group, start chatting with people. You know, you'll end up meeting people. Trust me, you'll get to where you want to go and you'll instantly have like a group of friends or people you can talk to or whatever. You know, that kind of worked out for me. I'm here in Thailand and I got, you know, 4, 5, 6 different guys that, you know, I talk to, a few guys that I talk to more than others, but, you know, a pretty good base of friends. You know, I met a girl here, so obviously we spent a lot of time together, and you know, that all makes me real happy. Once you get there, there's like social groups, there's clubs, there's different things you can do when you get to wherever you're going to move. So that's a great idea. I mean, don't just go there blind without. No, I mean, you can. I came here last year when I was investigating, didn't know anybody. And then, you know, once I got back here this year, I had a little bit more of a, you know, lay of the land. I have some friends that were here. Many of my friends still haven't been able to come back. So another suggestion that I have is don't stop exercising like your mind and your body. You know, go for walks, hit the gym, do yoga, do meditation. Read books, learn new things. I mean, right now, what I've been trying to get through this book I have, but I spent a lot of time on YouTube watching videos of like instructional. I'm trying to work on this editing software that I bought, and I'm trying to learn that. That's not what I'm going to edit this on. I'm still doing this on my phone, but you know, I'm trying to learn this Final Cut Pro. I upgraded equipment, you know, so you can learn a lot of things on YouTube. Different creators teach different things. There's classes you can take. So you know, any type of hobby you want to have, you can learn it. Reading about it online, the internet. Here, if I wanted to, you know, I considered taking a language class, and I still might at some point in time. I actually paid for what I was going to do, but that was in Bangkok, and I didn't end up living there. So now I'm south of Pattaya, near into Sattahip, and you know, I've been spending so much time just trying to learn more about YouTube, more about video creation, photography, that type of thing. So I haven't got back to the language, but that's something you could do if you moved to a different country and wanted to learn that language. You know, that'll give you something to do, and you'll meet people while doing it. So that's my last point I want to make, is continually try to learn new things. When you're in a new country or a new place or a new state, or once you're retired and you're just sitting around home, you got to keep doing things. If I was retired and I didn't move out of Michigan, I'd want to like have a nice garden in the summer. I'd get maybe into fishing and hunting and things like that. I mean, you just got to do things to stay busy. Trust me, that mistake that I made the first time I retired, if you sit around the house and don't do shit, you're going to lose your mind. I felt like my first retirement, like I wasn't doing anything to meet new people, and then the people I had worked with, they're still at work, and the only people I was talking to was like middle school kids, my kids, and it's like, you know, it's, you know, I don't know if you've dealt with middle school kids, but, you know, that got old real quick. I'm like, I got to get my ass out of the house and get another job or get hobbies or whatever. So I'm glad I did it. It worked out for me. I worked 8 more years. So guys, I don't know if it's some like nuts that I ate, peanuts or whatever. Like my throat, I'm like dying now. So I had to run in the house and get some water. Sorry about that. So I'll let you know some of the things I did to prepare for my retirement. I sold my house, a year, 2 years before I retired, and I bought a investment property. I bought a duplex. So one side I rent out and I make some passive income. The other side, it's there if I want to come or go or whatever I want to do. So that was all set for retirement. I also got a lot of my other financial ducks in a row. Financially prepare for retirement. And I'm not just talking about, oh, I'm going to retire, I get money in the bank. I mean, really, really plan out a few years ahead of time. You know, make sure that your investments are good. You know, there's certain investments that you can do that may pay 6, 7, 8% dividend. You know, if you invest in those type of stocks that don't fluctuate a lot, maybe you can put your money into those funds and just collect money off the stocks, off the dividends, and live on that instead of dipping into your investment that, you know, if you retire too early, that could run out. So, you know, try to live on your interest or your dividends. Make sure that, you know, you got your family support. If you do want to travel, make sure you got somebody to look after your house to, you know, do different things like that. I'll show you guys the view here. I'm on my balcony. Let me show you guys. Look at, another thing I've been doing is gardening. Look at, bought all these plants for the balcony. And then if you look out there, you know, you got the sea and everything. So plan it out good. Know where you want to go. Don't just decide you're going to retire and go somewhere. Retire, go there for a few months, explore, make sure it's the right place for you.